It's my great pleasure to have Paul Tien, founder and CEO of Morro Data, with us today to share about finding your voice and confidence, especially when English isn't your first language. I know I'm looking forward to learning a lot tonight. Now let's give a warm welcome to Peter for our opening prayer.
Dear Lord, we thank you for giving us this opportunity this evening that we can gather together and have listened to our dear brother Paul's sharing. We pray that you anoint his mouth so he could speak clearly and help everyone that attending today, to especially the first generation immigrants, to know how we can improve our language skill, and we can use that in our personal life, in our career, and also in our spiritual life. We just ask for your blessing and covering for this evening's meeting. Give all the thanks to you. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Peter. Um, So before we begin today's program, I want to remind you that when our speaker is presenting, please turn off your video and mute your microphone. If you have any questions during the presentation, you can type them in the chat. If your question is confidential, you can send it to me directly. During the Q&A session, we'll invite participants to unmute. If you like to ask a question, please raise your hand and we'll call your name and then you can speak. I appreciate your cooperation. Today's agenda is as follows. After a 55-minute presentation, there will be a 15-minute Q&A session. Then we'll open EMBA breakout rooms for discussion and for you to ask questions about the AdCloud Marketplace Ministry. It's now my great pleasure to introduce tonight's speaker, Mr. Paul Tien. As I've shared before, Paul is the founder and CEO of Morro Data. He's also a serial entrepreneur with an incredible track record. He's founded and led several technology companies, including Infrant Technologies, Platform Technologies, and Media Chips. Beyond business, he's also a dedicated entrepreneurship circle mentor here at AdCloud and serves as an elder at Gospel Christian Church. Tonight, Paul will share insights from his talk, Life is a Tongue Twister, exploring how language, communication, and confidence shape our leadership and relationships in the marketplace. Let's give a warm welcome to Paul Tien.
Thank you, Jimmy. It's really my pleasure to be here to be sharing with you. It's a very interesting topic. I'm sure we will find out that it is very relevant as well. I have to say that I'm not a linguist, and language is not even my forte. I do have the experience of teaching a few people English at church and at other places. It's just my kind of my mission that I want to help people with establishing their language skills while coming into this new society. I do feel that there are a few things that we can learn and share together. We help each other out. After all, our spoken English is a very important aspect of how well we can achieve in this society. So let me start sharing my slides. By the way, I welcome you to ask questions at the end. So you can send your questions to the chat. Life is a tongue twister. So everybody knows what a tongue twister is, right? So is there anyone who doesn't speak Mandarin today? Is there anyone? Can you let me know? Okay, I assume everybody does. Tongue twister, tongue twister 中文是什么？
绕口令。
绕口令, very good. 绕口令. Now, why do I say life is a tongue twister? A lot of times because we are not a native English speaker. So speaking English is not the most natural thing for us to do. Oftentimes we speak, and yes, we speak well enough so people can understand us. But as we will talk about, it really goes beyond just being understood. You want to project yourself. You want to go further than just being understood. And that's what we are sharing today. Everybody can see my sharing, right? Okay, so we're gonna talk about Chinese Americans and spoken English. I'm focusing on spoken English because the word of English is too vast. And spoken English is how we present ourselves, how we communicate with others. So it's probably the most important aspect of the language. Now, I want to start by telling you a story. Does anyone remember the Acer Aspire? You can turn on your mic, and if you remember the Acer Aspire.
Yes, we do.
Okay, you do.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I remember in many, many years ago, well, in the days of, at that time, there was a Computex, right?
Mm-hmm.
I read, I was already aware that Acer was developing a new product line called Aspire. They spent a lot of R&D dollars as well as marketing efforts to launch this new product line, Aspire. And one day, finally, when they are ready, before Comdex, they launched this thing, and San Jose Mercury News wrote a piece of article, I remember, in the business section for this launch. However, the very first sentence of this article says, a Taiwanese PC clone company, Acer. You know, Taiwanese PC clone company Acer launches this new product line called Aspire. Just in that very first few words, an impression was cast on this product. It is a Taiwanese product. It is a clone product. And then the rest doesn't matter how well the spec is, how good the design is, the impression has been cast. And this is how impression works. As you walk into a room, and the first thing people notice you is what you wear, right? And then the second thing they notice about you is what do you say and how you say it. Yes, I know what you said, and I'm forming an opinion about you based on how you said it. There is a difference between being understood and being perceived. I know everyone here can say English good enough that we are all well understood by the other person. But how are we perceived? That is actually more important. How people look at you. It is very interesting. People form opinion about you very, very quickly. Sometimes I joke it's at the speed of light. When somebody walks into a room, depending on whether you like the person or not, your facial expression will change so fast. In lightning speed, milliseconds, your facial expression could be, oh, very curious or not so interested. How you project yourself, how you are being perceived is very quickly done upon other people. And oftentimes we just focus on being understood. This is how we do it. In a company, when we talk about things, we use pretty simple vocabulary and also, in a ways that's comfortable to us. However, in those accent, vocabulary, grammar, we are being evaluated and being perceived as such. So let's move on. And then there's the social meaning, right? The social meaning including the projection of self. How you actually project yourself onto others, how you project yourself onto the workplace, and how you project yourself even onto your own assessment of yourself, how you look at yourself. A lot of times, because of the language limitation, we kind of limit ourselves onto the just a a limited scope, kind of a comfort zone of our own, that we dare not venture into, what is more challenging and what is actually more interesting. So how you project yourself, and also from here, how do we influence others? The suggestion of ideas, the presentation of ideas, and the promotion of ideas all depends on communication. And a very important, probably the most important communication is the spoken English for us, whether it's at work or even in the family. Our challenges of spoken English is actually everywhere. It goes with us, whether you like it or not, and everywhere you have to exercise this ability, this skill set to express yourself, to project yourself, and to influence others. And also on the issue of social meaning, we are in this country, right? So how well do we participate in this different culture? Sometimes it's a very interesting topic. Do you know the American sports? Do you watch football, baseball, or NBA? Do you socialize with your colleagues on these things? When salespeople talk about deals with their clients, often they don't start with the business topics. They start with, oh, did you watch the game last night? Wow, that was a great game. It was a tough battle that the Warriors won last night. And then you talk about it, you warm up to the other person, and then you talk about the business deal. And also for the sheer enjoyment, being able to enjoy the sports, enjoy the cultural events, the festivals and all that. And I think that all takes the spoken English. Now, before I venture into some of the language aspects, I think we should understand there are very fundamental differences between Chinese and English as spoken languages. First of all, Chinese is logographic. Logographic means it's a character-based, it's a shape character, and this character has its own pronunciation and has its own meaning. It's very well defined. It's very unique. Actually, I would say Chinese language is probably the world's only major language that is logographic versus alphabetic. English is alphabetic. Many languages are alphabetic. Even Korean is alphabetic. So you would say, what is the difference? What is the fundamental difference? I think understanding the fundamental difference helps us understand why we face some of the challenges when we try to speak English. So in alphabetic, every alphabet has a sound. You know, what S has a S sound, T has a T sound. So every alphabet has a sound. There are vowels, there are consonants, and then because it's alphabetic, the combination of the alphabets makes you learn, spell those, pronounce those combination differently. So like S and T together and PH and A together, different sound combinations. That happens in the alphabetic language, does not happen in the logographic, because within logographic, everything is fixed. Every character is fixed. So you don't need to connect one character to the next character. There's a clear distinction of different characters. While in alphabetic, there's all kinds of combination and all kinds of sound could happen. So that's why it's more challenging for Chinese to learn the alphabetic pronunciation. Now, the other fundamental difference is the four tones. Chinese language has this ma, 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 right? This language, this four tones. And while in English, there's no four tones. Everything is what? Just intonation. Just the rhythm up and down, the intonation. That's why when you listen to Americans, when they say, 你吃饭了没有? They will say, 我 say 你吃饭了没有? And they will say, 你吃饭了没有? Right? Every American say it that way. 你吃饭了没有? Because that's how they say it in English. They just vary their tone, and that's what they do. 你吃饭了没有? Did you eat yet? So that is very natural for them to say it that way. And it is not natural for us to say it that way, which is like singing. So you have to, once you understand these differences, then you can tell yourself, oh, okay, so those are this is why they do it that way. This is why I hear it this way. And this is how I can help myself in learning, how they speak. Okay. All right. Now, so I'm going to talk about, actually, if you want to ask questions, you can ask questions. But I feel kind of, bored already going through all these slides, just me talking myself. So if you want to ask questions, please just voice your questions. So I'm going to talk about pronunciation, sentence and grammar, vocabulary, and lastly, fluency. Now, pronunciation. I think a lot of Chinese have this false sense of security that I speak pretty well. I don't think I have that much accent. I've been in this country for 30 years, so I should be doing okay. Okay, so this is a test. This is a very interesting test. Here, there's this sentence, right? And how do you say we should say this sentence? It is a test of the vowel. There's a vowel of the A and E, how you say the A and E in this first sentence. How do you say it? Anybody wants to try? Anyone would unmute your mic and try it?
Now I'll give it a shot.
All right, Stan.
All right. Mary, merrily, Mary, Gary.
Okay. So I hear Merrily is the and all the others are correct?
I think so.
Mary, Merrily, Mary, Gary. Okay. Anybody else wants to try?
I think I saw Shan was trying.
Yeah, I would like to try.
Yeah, Shan.
Mary, merrily, Mary, Gary.
Okay. Thank you, Shan. I think you spoke the same as Sam. Anyone else? Okay. Now, if you look up the dictionary, and if you don't have to look up any dictionary, just look up on Chrome, right? Chrome has how do I pronounce this word? Okay, let me tell you how the American English is pronounced with this sentence. It's Mary, Merrily, Mary, Gary. Mary, Merrily, Mary, Gary. So all 4 words, they all have the same vowel sound as merrily. They're like Barry. It's like Jerry. Mary, merrily, Mary, Gary. Surprise? Yeah, it is pretty surprising. It was surprising when I first found out to me. Why? Because a lot of times we over-articulate. We over-articulate and we thought, okay, this is the way English is spoken, but actually it is not. So one time I was speaking, to an American, and then she was asking me, why do you speak this word that way? It was a problem of over-articulation. I thought was according to the rule of pronunciation, but that's just not the case. It's Mary, Merrily, Mary, Gary. Look it up later on if you want to verify this. Okay, the second line, to save time, I'll just give you the answer, is very. V-A-R-Y is very. It sounds pronounced exactly the same as V-E-R-Y. It's very. It's not very. The second word, various, again, is a. It's not a. It's various. The third word is precarious. It's not precarious. It's not precarious. It's precarious. And the first word is gregarious. Gregarious. It's not gregarious. It's gregarious. Okay. All these words are very easily mispronounced. People understand you, no problem. Just like if you say Mary, Merrily, Mary, Gary, they understand what you're saying, but you would sound different. How serious is this? It's nothing serious. People understand us, but people would just know that, okay, I mean, yeah, it's okay. I mean, they know you're not from here. That's what it is. And they may or form certain impression of us by us not knowing the way they say it or not being able to tell that's the way they say it. Okay, the third line. One is a verb, the other one is an adjective. Anybody wants to try this one? Probably more people know this one. Did that scare everyone? Okay, if it's a verb, then it's close, right? With a Z, close. If it's an adjective, then it's close, C-O-S, with an S, sound. Close, close, if it's adjective. I don't know if you knew this before, but I wouldn't be surprised. A lot of people don't know this. Okay, so we talk about over articulation. There are other examples of over articulation. I would so these are like, for example, the word comfortable, comfortable, comfortable. I would say the way we learned in Taiwan was comfortable, comfortable. But in the US, people say comfortable, comfortable. They don't say comfortable. They just say comfortable. Look at that. Other words like camera, camera. They don't say camera. They say quickly like camera, camera. Okay. It's just like, you know, you don't have a problem with every, right? You don't say every, every. You just say every. Same thing with camera. You don't say camera. You say camera. Just like you don't say different. You just say different. So some of the syllables you just skip over. The reason they do it this way is because it's just more comfortable. It's just easier. You didn't have to over articulate. And as a result, this is natural American spoken English. Things we don't know until someone points out to you. Okay. And then the schwa. I want to introduce the schwa vowel to you. If you don't know schwa, does anybody know schwa? Okay. Very few people know schwa. You know, we have the English language has A, E, I, O, U, and maybe Y is also a vowel. These are the vowels. But the most common vowel is actually the schwa. And what is the schwa? Is this one. If you learn the 国际音标, the sound. The sound is when your tongue is right in the middle of your mouth, right in the middle. In other words, you make no effort. So when you say banana, banana, the first A and the last A is a schwa. Banana. So whenever you say schwa, you don't have to use effort at all. It's actually very easy. It's actually very lazy. And it sounds natural. So if you say banana, definitely it's wrong. It's banana, right? So there are other words such as photograph. You don't say photograph. The second O, you don't say photograph. You just say photograph because the second O is a schwa. Another one is like apricot, apricot, or maybe you say apricot, but you don't say apricot. You don't say apricot. You say apricot, A-P-R-I. That I becomes a schwa. So a schwa can come from A, E, I, O, U, Y, any word, or sometimes no word, like in rhythm, I-H-Y-T-H-M, rhythm, T-H-M, there's a schwa in there, them, rhythm, okay. We learned this word, precarious, precarious. The E is not it's not precarious, it's precarious, precarious. So that E becomes a schwa as well. So these things will, if you don't say it the right way, it's gonna give away that, oh, you know, you're not native and you don't know how to say words like the native does. How important of this is this? Probably not important, but it just gives away, right? Now, the last one is stress. What is stress? I feel this is a very serious problem with a lot of speakers. That because the way we learn to speak Chinese, that every word is equally stressed. If you think about it, almost every word is equally stressed. Well, in English, that's definitely not the case. For example, like a sentence, go ask her, go ask her, go ask her, right? You can say, go ask her. The last word, her, is very de-emphasized. It's not stressed at all, because it's not important. Go ask her. Go is probably the most important word. But you can also say, go ask her. Go ask her, and focus on ask. And that's a different meaning. Or when you say, go ask her, go ask her, that is a different meaning as well. So it depends on what you want to express. The American English, they emphasize, stress different words. So you don't say, go ask her, go ask her. You don't stress every word. And this is, I think, we want to pay attention to when we speak a sentence. There are those words that are important versus words that you don't want to stress, so you can sound natural. In a sentence, there are important words versus not important words. Let me see. I think I might cover the okay, I'll cover the nine important words, the functional words later on. All right. So I'm covering actually a lot of material here. This is by no means complete. It's actually a very small portion of how we can improve our pronunciation. I just want to point out, my purpose of doing this slide is so that we understand there are many ways. We actually have a lot of room to improve. So there are, actually, it's almost a never-ending game that we can improve ourselves. All right. Okay. This fossilized errors. It sounds cruel that our errors are kind of fossilized, but in a way, it is kind of true. Because our errors sometimes are built into us so much. It's just like when I speak my Mandarin 当我讲国语的时候呢，你很快就可以听出来呢，我是从台湾来的，我不是，So, and I don't know how you do it, but it must be something in my Mandarin that would just let you know in one or two words, you can already tell that I'm not from China, I'm from Taiwan. So the way we learn English, there's a lot of fossilized errors. So is it too late for adults to learn pronunciation? Is it too late? I would say no, it's not too late. As long as you have the method to help yourselves. My dad had a stroke when he was in the 80s, and it was pretty serious. Half of his brain was actually blocked. The blood couldn't go in, but he was saved in time because within 2 hours of stroke happening, he had an operation on. The doctor did an operation on him and took out a fairly large, like my little fingernails size of blood clot from his brain. And I spent a lot of time with him, helping him to recover from stroke. And after 6 months, thank God, he fully recovered from not being able to speak to be able to speak. But he doesn't speak the same way he used to. My mom told me, you know what? Your dad is like a different person now. He was a lot more, he was a quick-tempered. Now he's kind of very easygoing. And I feel like he's a different person after the stroke. That's how brain works. It's very interesting. Even after you suffer a stroke, when your brain is partly damaged, the brain rewires itself at the age of 80 something and make it even work better for my mom, from my mom's perspective. So I would say if you know how to help yourself with pronunciation today, if you have a pronunciation challenge, and this is, these three points is what I can, I think, may be able to help you. First of all, pronunciation is about listening. You have to be able to listen to speak. How do you know what to speak? You have to be able to listen to tell the difference between what you're saying versus what you hear other people are saying. You have to be able to listen to how others say it. So when you listen to others, don't just understand what other people say, but listen to how they say it. When you watch Netflix, that's how you watch Netflix. When you listen to YouTube, pay attention to how they say it. If you don't know how to tell the difference between how you say it versus how other people say it, then it's more challenging for you to learn to say it correctly. Okay, so practice your listening skills. Listening skills needs to be practiced. We often learn to ignore how other people say it. If you watch Netflix, maybe you watch the caption and you just focus on the meaning of what they say. But to learn pronunciation, you want to be able to listen. And then IPA, what is IPA? 国际音标, International Phonetic Alphabets. So if you don't have a dictionary that uses IPA, get one. And whenever you see a word you don't know or you're not sure about pronouncing, just look it up. It will help you. It's gonna be your best friend. So learn IPA. And this is fundamental work for every language student. You have to work on the fundamentals. You cannot skip the fundamentals. Otherwise, our errors truly become fossilized. And it doesn't matter how many times you speak, you forever speak the same thing. The last one is feedback. I think feedback is probably the most important in improving our spoken English, is to get feedback. I don't know if you know people who have spouses that are native speakers, and does that help the non-native speaker to be married to a native speaker? In most cases, I know, no, it doesn't help a bit, not a bit, because, I guess the native speaker, the husband, would never dare to give you feedback, otherwise the marriage would be in trouble, right? So you don't get feedback from your spouse for good reasons. So, and your coworkers are not gonna give you feedback. They just understand you. They're not gonna bother with giving you feedback. So how do you get feedback? Without getting feedback, your errors will become, you just keep on saying the same thing. I know a lot of people who've come here for, I don't know, 20, 30 years. They don't, I would say after first 2, 3 years of your coming to the country, your language skill will improve. And later on, you settle into your own comfort zone. And that's all. and you don't need to strive. You don't need to improve anymore. You already know how to make a living. You already know how to get around. You already know how to do your shopping. So usually after you get into a new country, this country, 2-3 years, if your language doesn't improve a lot, then it tends to plateau at that level. You can think about yourself. I mean, if I don't continue to improve, then I already know how to survive. I know how to get around. This is the way I speak. Unless you are a student, you'll continue to learn. So getting feedback and continue to improve is the most important way to improve our pronunciation. How do you get feedback other than from, I think I don't know. If IPA looking up the dictionary can help you get feedback, that is good. If somebody's willing to give you feedback without agitating you, that's what you should try to sign up for, to get feedback. Appreciate any feedback that you can get. Ask your friends, ask your native friends for feedback. Don't be offended by it, because that is the best tool for you to improve. Okay, let me see. I'm going too slow. I need to go faster. Okay, grammar. What is grammar? Grammar is complicated. American English has a lot of grammar. Chinese has very little grammar. Our verb, Chinese verb don't have 没有复数，也没有过去式，也没有现在进行式等等等等。But English has all these things, so there's grammar, and also English sentence structure is actually more complicated, right? So you can do it in many different ways to structure a sentence. So my take on grammar is, yes, you can try to remember all those rules and you may not be able to master it, but the best way is to internalize it. How do you internalize grammar? I would find good articles and just memorize on those articles. Why do I say it this way? Because that's how I learn it. Grammar to me is not too big a challenge. I never felt grammar was difficult for me. And the way I thought about it, when I was learning English, was that I memorized a lot of good articles at the time. So once you memorize the articles, it's just like you don't know Chinese grammar. I mean, and Americans, they don't know English grammar. They don't really know, because they say it every day. So once this becomes your structural memory, then this is the way you say it. So I would, if you could find some good articles, then you can memorize on those articles, or memorize or become very familiar with it. That's how you learn grammar. And I can tell you, Bible is a very good source of good articles. Bible is a very good source of good articles, especially my favorite, Philemon, Philemon, however you want to pronounce it. Just one single chapter, full of emotion, full of beautiful sentences. If you can memorize that chapter, that is wonderful. And it's got a lot of good grammar in there. Okay, vocabulary. It is very important to expand on your vocabulary, because vocabulary here it says words are the dress of thoughts. Just like you ladies, you want to dress well when you go to an occasion. Again, when you open your mouth, whether it's just simple words or you have nicer words coming out, words are the dress of thoughts. I want to say it this way so I can encourage you to learn more, to expand your vocabulary, because to know more vocabulary, it builds self-confidence, it increases your knowledge, and it makes your sentences more elegant, more beautiful, and it makes a good impression, good projection of yourself upon others. Vocabulary. And there are many ways to expand your vocabulary. And later on, I'm going to share about how I do it. Okay, go fast. Fluency, to be fluent. To do speech rate, right? To be fluent doesn't mean you have to speak very fast. I don't think I speak very fast. However, if you notice my speaking, maybe some of the words I speak very fast. Sometimes I just speak slowly when I want to emphasize things. So speech rate doesn't mean you speak everything very quickly. For example, let me give you a sentence. Ask her to meet us at the train station. Ask her to meet us at the train station. So you don't say ask her to meet us at the train station, right? So to speak faster, then you say ask her together, ask her, become asker. H is almost silent. And then meet us. You don't say meet us, you just say meet us, right? T and U become together, meet us. And then you don't say at the, you say at the T and TH becomes together. That's called linking words or liaison, okay? So ask her to meet us at the train station. So just, you don't have to say it fast, but by linking words, you say it just like the native speakers, and you actually achieve a faster speech rate. And speech rate is related to fluency. But later on, a little bit more on speech rate, I'll talk about. Rhythm, content versus function words. So there are content words. Content words are important words. For example, like meet us. Meet is it's a content word, right? To meet, to, you know, that is important word. Train station is a content word. All the others, ask is a content word, but all the other words like us, at the, those are not important words. Those are just function words. Those are just there. So ask us, ask her to meet us at the train station. At the is not important. At the train station, right? You just speak faster. So there are those content words versus function words. Function words are not important. I know the function, this word is kind of misleading, but function is just there. Just like of, at, in, those are not important words. Her, him, us, those are not important words, right? Important words are the verbs and also you know, the things that you want to express. So you just focus on those words. Chunking, I already talked about chunking. You say ask her is one chunk, meet us is one chunk, at the train station is one chunk, right? So ask her, meet us at the train station. Yeah. So you separate out a long sentence into chunks. And then there's intonation versus tones that I talk about versus, you know, so almost you get a feeling that American English speaking is almost like singing. Ask her to meet us at the train station. There's singing effect, fast and slow and high and low. And it is very natural. It's just like, you know, Americans say, 你吃饭了没有? It's the same thing. That's just how they say it. Okay. So that's about fluency. Okay, so this topic is about tongue twister. So I shouldn't go through without trying a tongue twister. Betty bought a bit of butter, but the bit of butter Betty bought was bitter. Anybody wants to try? Anyone? Come on.
I will try it.
Okay.
Okay. Bad butter, bit of butter, but the bit of butter bad butter was bitter.
Okay, good try. Very good.
I can
Anyone
try.
else?
I want to try to.
Okay.
Betty bought a bit of butter, but the bit of butter Betty bought was bitter.
Very good. Okay. Thank you. All right. So the trick on this again is you have to link the words, right? Betty bought a bit of, right? Bit of together is one word, bit of butter. But the together one word. Bit of is another one word. Butter, Betty bought was bitter. So, and also the word butter is when you listen to Americans say it, it's almost B-U-D-D-E-R, butter. Okay. So Betty bought a bit of butter, but the bit of butter Betty bought was bitter. Okay. Now, linking words and chunking help. But I think the most important thing is you say it clearly. So tongue twisters, you can find some tongue twisters. I think tongue twisters, it's kind of fun game, but on the other hand, it also helps you, force you to get used to link words together, right? And get into a rhythm. Yeah, tongue twister wasn't designed for this, but I find the usefulness of tongue twister this way. You get a rhythm by saying it. Okay. All right. Good job, ladies. Thank you for trying. Okay. I want to share with you some of the things I do. I do shadowing. I don't know if you know shadowing. Shadowing is when you listen to a speech and then I repeat immediately after the first word. For example, Betty bought, as soon as I hear Betty, then I also go along Betty. But my ear will listen to the native speaker's way of saying. So I follow exactly how he says it without reading a script. Don't read the script, because as soon as you read a script, then your fossilized memory comes back. Then your own old ways of saying the word comes in. You just listen to how he says it. And that's called shadowing. It's proven to be the most effective way of learning to speak, to learn an accent. So I shadow President Ronald Reagan because he's a very known good speaker. So I shadow him. You can shadow, you can find a person to shadow. Or you can just, get shadowed as a habit. Whenever you listen to CNN or, Netflix, you just shadow the person. And it's fun and it works. I read newspaper magazines just to help myself expand my vocabulary. I read English Bible. I actually teach English Bible. I would say the most elegant writing is in the Bible. I give you one example. The book of Philemon is very beautiful. And, if you can, memorize that chapter, and I'm sure it's very, very beneficial. I work on crossword puzzles for two reasons. One is vocabulary. The other one is to learn about the cultural things about, in this country. Because the crossword puzzles, a lot of times, they ask you, oh, which movie won this Oscar in 2024, right? And also, which singer, blah, 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 and so they ask a lot of names in there, and also plus a lot of words, and also a lot of hints are very, very interesting. Anyway, if you never try a crossword puzzle, I would recommend you to try. It's actually a good way to learn and to expand your vocabulary as well as your cultural understanding. And just be attentive whenever you get a chance to talk to others in English, right? Pay attention to how you say it. Pay attention not just to pronunciation, but the right way of saying things. For example, a lot of times I would say things like, "Oh, can you give me that?" It's if I pay attention, I would say, uh, uh, may I ask you to help me with that? So just different ways of saying things to kind of expand the way how you interact with people. All right. Now, all these knowledge cannot help you. You may feel motivated after my talk. Okay, I'm gonna try these. I'm gonna try. I would say motivation is overrated. I mean, just like New Year's resolution, usually they don't last till February. So what do? I think you need a purpose-driven context. What is a purpose-driven context? For example, like if you have a Brazilian, if you just know a Brazilian girl and you're very interested in her, and and or yeah, you're very interested in her, but in this Brazilian girl that you just knew. I guarantee you, within 1 month, you're gonna master Portuguese very well. And this is called purpose-driven context. Give you a very substantial goal, very tangible goal, a goal that makes you willing and eager to achieve. That is the purpose-driven context. And I think language is kind of difficult that it requires this kind of purpose-driven context to achieve good result. I don't think language is something you can just learn very easily. You have to spend the effort. You have to first have the method. And today I've been going through the method, but then you need that purpose-driven way of learning it. Okay. But after all this, I still want to tell you, life isn't about flawless speeches. It's about savoring your present, even when the words get tangled. Even when you don't speak perfect speeches, I would say when you are speaking a tongue twister, right? In the beginning, just slow down. It's okay to slow down. I remember I had a engineering director when he made he was in my group, and when I asked him to make a presentation to the board on our project, I was first concerned, is his English, because he's Chinese, right? So I was concerned, is his Chinese good enough for the board? But you know what? He did a fantastic job. He just did it slowly. He explained things slowly. So although he's not very fluent, but he does it slowly. And as a result, everybody understands what he's saying. And he doesn't make pronunciation errors and all that. So I would say slow down and just be confident. And you don't need to be flawless in many ways, but just know that get your grammar correct, get pronunciation as much as possible, and speak at a confident pace of yours. You don't need to speed up too much. It's about savoring your pretzel. You know how pretzel is like, right? It's twisted, even when the words are tangled. Yeah. And at the end, so I hope everybody can be like that guy in Taiwan. He said, 从从容容，游刃有余. I think language learning that you make effort and then you 从从容容，游刃有余, and then you can master it. All right? Okay. And that's all I have. Ah, sorry. It's 1 hour. I think I overused my time.
Oh, no
All right,
worries.
back to you, Jamie.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Paul. Yeah, that's such a insightful speech. Yeah. I've never like broken down English into all these critical aspects. even though I may unintentionally did some practice and learning, but yeah, this is such a great learning from you. And I think it's time to open questions to everybody. I'm sure you must have things you would like to ask Paul after such an informative 1 hour.
Hey, Paul, this is Peter. Do you know if there's any AI tools and application that can help you practice or improve your?
Yes, right now the internet is full of AI tools
I
that can
see.
help you practice. And many of the AI tools are pretty nice. I recently used an AI tool just try to learn Japanese. But I would say they don't give you good feedback at this point. Yeah, because they cannot listen. When they say they listen to you, they are faking it. They don't really listen. They just say, "Oh, nice job," and they don't really listen. So there's no replacement for real interaction. Yeah.
Hey, Paul, really appreciate this great presentation. And I thought, my English is semi-decent, but even today I learned something new, right? That Mary Lee. Yeah. And I just have like one comment and then maybe a little bit of promotion as well. So the comment about you said to really learn and practice a language, it takes motivation. So I have a little bit of a story to share. So I know of this person, right? He's an ABC, right? He was born here, and then he was telling he was actually coming to the place I work, and then he was sharing with many of us who are kind of first generation immigrants, right? Parents, right? And say, hey, forcing your kids to go to Chinese school, right? It doesn't really work. He said, I hated it, right? Being an ABC, but his Chinese is actually decent, and he said, how I actually eventually learned Chinese is two reasons, right? The first reason is when he was younger, he used to watch kind of Chinese martial arts TV series, right, with his grandpa, and then and based on 金庸小说, right? And then his grandpa said, hey, if you like, the TV series, the novel is even better, right? And then that motivated him to learn Chinese that he can read, right? And then that's one part. And the second part was when he was going to Stanford for grad school. He was leading a Bible study with a lot of participants that are like international students from China, from Taiwan, right? So in order to lead that Bible study effectively, he had to use the Chinese Bible, right? And again, that motivated him to learn.
Yeah.
And then he said, interestingly enough, he said his Chinese vocabulary is mainly consists of words from the Bible and 金庸小说.
Yes.
And that is good
Yeah.
enough.
So those are the purpose-driven contexts, right? Yeah, I
Yes,
think you need
yes.
those things. You don't just do it because, oh, I want to learn this. I think
Yep.
that's not enough. Yeah.
Exactly. And then a quick promotion, actually, we were talking about practice is really important. So at Cloud, we actually have a forum for exactly that. We launched a new program a couple of months ago called Effective Communication Workshop, ECW. And I don't know if Ling is still online. Ling, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
All right.
So I just sent everybody a chat. So for the next month's effective communication workshop, the flyer is there. So if you can take a look and join us, will be good. And thank you for Mentor Paul Tien's teaching. And if you always just really hope Mentor Paul can help us in the workshop will be bad because we are going to practice something you taught today. Yeah, if you can come to join us, will be great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we actually have small groups online, right? And we break the attendees into breakout groups, and then you actually practice presenting and communicating and sharing, and then in each small group there will either be a coach or evaluator to exactly like Paul said, right? Give you that timely feedback. So
Yes,
yeah,
yeah.
so for those interested, welcome to scan the QR code and join our next ECW. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, just to add on that, I participated once. Yeah, it's so helpful for my job interview as well. Yeah. So it's one time I participated. We talk about how to present yourself in job interview, and that gave me a boost on my interview. Yeah. Yeah. I think we still have a few minutes, so everyone feel free to ask anything. You can unmute yourself or send your question in the chat.
Or you can share about the challenges that you are facing, or how you, if you know a good method, there's what I talk about today is just from my own perspective. By no means it's not complete.
Yeah, and I think I can agree more about the point you and Sam all emphasize. You really need a context to improve your language. Yeah. Um, I used to study in Japan for 6 months, and yeah, I improved my Japanese a lot because I had to go shopping, order in a restaurant, just as you said. In that time, yeah, you force yourself to grow.
I thought you had a Japanese girlfriend then.
That
That would be the best way.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. I didn't learn that fast because, yeah, I didn't know, yeah, this method yet. Uh, um, yeah, I don't see any question yet, so I'll ask a question, myself. I think Peter, touched a portion of this. Like AI is definitely the hottest topic today, especially as somebody working in tech. Um, I think Peter asked about using AI to learn language, and I would go a step further and ask your opinion on how AI will influence the communication between us, between human beings. Yeah. Yeah.
AI would improve your communication with the knowledge at large, right? So it's so easy to uh, to retrieve knowledge from AI. However, what does that mean for person-to-person communication? I think it's going to present even more precarious challenges, you know, in terms of building relationship, in terms of building person-to-person communication, because you, in a way, you rely less and less on that. You really have a kind of a mentor, have a buddy to talk to now that you can rely on, and maybe you will trust more. So it is gonna be a challenge, especially between parent and children. Just imagine the children will just go to AI for almost anything they have questions on, right? And so it used to be the parents are the authority of knowledge for the kids. They are not anymore. And very, later on, they even emotionally, they they can go to AI as well. So it is a very grave concern, and also the parents would need to be a lot wiser now, because you are facing a lot bigger challenges than before.
Wow, that's such a great insight. I think a few pastors actually mentioned about this point in their preaching, like how how we should communicate more with children and really understand them better, so AI doesn't take over our roles. And I think Christy have a question for you, Paul. So Christy, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask us a question.
Okay, thank you, Paul, teacher Paul, sharing. It's very useful. I just have a question when you mentioned the stress. Like in Chinese, when we speak, it's more like a monotone, like what I'm speaking right now.
Yeah.
It's like a monotone. So when you use the example, go ask her, or go ask her, or go ask her, it represents different meanings of each sentence when different word is stressed. But I don't know, like I have difficulty like understanding if it's just go ask her, what's that mean? Or go ask her, what's that mean?
Okay.
What is he trying to emphasize?
I see. Okay. Yeah. If you say, go ask her, that means don't ask me. You go ask her, right? That's what it means. And when you say go ask her, that means you don't trust me. So you go ask her to see what I told you is true or not. That's one example. Okay. Or when you say go ask her, it's like, when you ask somebody to ask for some information and he doesn't want to go, and then you order the person, you say go ask her, right? Go ask her. So depends on where you put the stress. It's really a different context, and that is what you need to convey. And I'm using a very simple example to show you that in English, stress is dynamically used to be part of the communication all the time.
Yes.
All the time. So knowing this, then you don't want to overstress. You don't want to overstress on a lot of words that really don't need to be stressed. So if you listen to how they speak, they are very good at this. They only emphasize the words they want you to know, and all the other words is for grammatical purpose. It's there, but they are not important. So they speak in a lower voice, or they speak very quickly on those words.
And that become a problem to me because I want to understand every single word they say, and then they try to lower, de-stress the word, and I kind of miss the word, and I don't understand the whole concept.
Yeah. So first you understand this concept. After you understand this concept, then that helps you to know, okay, this is why they do it this way. And this is why they link the words together, because those words are not really important. That's why they link them together, So they don't, the way they say this, whatever is easier, whatever is more comfortable, whatever draws waste less energy. You don't want to waste a lot of energy, on words that are not important. So this is just how they do it, right? And all comes out to be the natural American way. Yeah. So it's okay. I mean, it takes practice. Once you understand the concept, then I'm sure, by listening more, you can get it. Like I said, listening is half of speaking. Once you know how to listen and you can tell the difference, then you already know how to speak 50%.
I have another add-on question. It's just like when I listen to the news and the reporter is saying the news, and they go so fast and then it's stressing some words, so it becomes like very fast, and then I tend to get zoned out very easy because I don't understand what they are speaking. How can I improve myself to understand and catch the word better, or understanding the important message?
Yeah.
Not
do you have
misunderstanding.
Okay. Yeah. do you have a recording device, like a TiVo or something, you can record the news program? Or
Yeah.
maybe watch live news is difficult for you, then you can watch the YouTube, right? YouTube has a lot of news clips, and you can play YouTube at a slower rate, and you can play as many times as you want. And YouTube will give you the translation. I would recommend you you uh, you read the transcript only just to confirm that's the word you are hearing, but don't rely on the transcript, because once you start reading the transcript, then your ears tend to zone out, right? So you don't listen as carefully anymore. So YouTube would be a good tool for your purpose.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, those are good questions. Thanks.
Yeah, great questions, Christy. And I think we've reached the end of our Q&A. And if you have more questions, please stay. We have a breakout room section where you can join the same breakout room with our mentor Paul and ask more questions and just chat about many thing else. And before we open the breakout rooms, I have a few announcements. First, we have regularly scheduled highly valuable events like the one you are attending today. So please scan the QR code on the left to find out more. Additionally, we have the more established EMBA program. EMBA is comprised of mentor-mentee circles and helps with personal and professional growth across business, ministry, and even family life. Experienced mentors provide guidance through monthly teachings, small group sharing, and one-on-one engagement. You will be paired with a mentor to help you break through limitations and thrive in your life journey. Our next event is the 2025 EMBA program graduation on November 8th from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific time or 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern time. This is a hybrid event, which means we'll be celebrating at our physical location in San Jose, California, as well as on Zoom. We'll have a few keynotes, personal sharing from mentees, awards, raffles, and a fun social mixer. Refreshments will be provided for those of you who are able to attend in person. Scan the QR code on the right to register now. We hope to see you there. We'll share more information about our EMBA program for 2026 early next year. And here's the effective communication workshop we just talked about during the Q&A session. It is a monthly gathering designed to help us grow in our communication skills at work, in the family, with friends, and in faith. Through teaching, prepared presentations, role play, and small group practice and sharing, we learn to express ourselves with clarity, empathy, and confidence, all rooted in biblical principles and real-life experience. It's a safe place to connect, learn, and be encouraged together. Do you like what you experienced today but unsure how to get started? Join the AdCloud family by joining one of our chat groups, receive updates via our mailing list, and access recordings from prior events. Please take a screenshot or picture. Now, about donation, AdCloud is a nonprofit Christian-based ministry. Everything you see here is a result of people giving their time, effort, and expertise. But as you know, things like buildings, Zoom account, and technology cost money. So I like to invite you to partner with us in supporting AdCloud. Your donations help us to build our infrastructure, reach more people, and support venue rentals. All of these make this ministry possible. Our amazing volunteers work hard to create a meaningful impact in the global marketplace, and your generosity plays a vital role in this mission. There are 3 ways to give: check, PayPal, and Zelle. Please take a screenshot, and we also have a link at the end where you can connect with us directly. Thank you for your support and generosity. And before we open up our breakout room, let me give you an introduction about the 4 circles in the EMBA program and how they connected to the breakout rooms you'll be joining shortly. There are 4 circles in EMBA, and each of them focuses on one key area. The E circle, it stands for entrepreneurship and life circle. Whether you are launching a startup, scaling your business, or seeking personal growth, the E circle is your gateway to new opportunities. The M circle, it stands for Malak and Preneur circle. Malak meaning kingship, and Preneur means entrepreneurship. This circle is designed for visionaries, leaders, and marketplace influencers ready to step into your divine calling. You will learn how to lead your mission at a workplace with wisdom and strategies, connect with a powerful network of like-minded entrepreneurs, and unlock new levels of impact and success. The B circle, it stands for B and career, business and career advancement. The circle is designed for professionals, entrepreneurs, and leaders to gain tools, insights, and network needed for breakthrough success. It will help you to accelerate your career growth with biblical tactics, gain business insights to scale and succeed, and connect with a powerful network of like-minded professionals. And finally, the A circle, it stands for the Apostolic Leadership Circle. The circle is designed for those who are ready to influence, build, and transform in their God-given spheres. You will learn to develop bold and strategic leadership skills, gain apostolic insights to impact your communities, and connect with like-minded kingdom leaders and pioneers. Please choose a circle that best fits your current needs in the breakout rooms, even though you will be assigned to a random one at first. And now it's time for a breakout room. So everybody feel free to join the breakout room you were assigned to and switch to the one you are more interested in. And after the breakout rooms, you're free to leave. Yeah. And I hope to see you in our next event and even in the EMBA's program.